What if I told you that the person most responsible for holding you back is you, not your boss, not your past, not your parents? It's that version of you who wakes up tired and stays comfortable. The version who hesitates when it's time to act. The version who talks big but lives small. If you don't kill that weak version of yourself today, it will bury you tomorrow. Not in some distant poetic metaphor, but quietly, but precisely, relentlessly. And it starts right now. You don't need anyone else to sabotage your life. You've been doing a great job of that on your own. Every time you delay action, every time you doubt yourself, every time you say, "That's just who I am," you're building a cage and locking yourself inside it. But let me tell you something. You're not broken. You're not cursed. You're not doomed to live like this. But you are stuck in a pattern, a loop, created by fear, reinforced by comfort, and protected by excuses. As Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." But most people never realize it. They don't find strength because they never look for it. They spend their lives negotiating with a ghost, the ghost of who they used to be. That ghost whispers softly every morning, "Not today. You've failed too many times. You'll never change. You're too old, too tired, too late." It pretends to be your friend, but it's not. It's your prison guard. And if you don't silence that voice, if you don't kill it, it will silence you. This is not just another motivational video. This is not a sugar-coated sermon to make you feel good for 10 minutes. This is war, a war against the weaker version of yourself, the one addicted to comfort, to validation, to laziness, the one terrified of responsibility and enslaved by emotions. And today, you're going to learn how to kill him, not with rage, but with reason, not with hate, but with hunger. Chapter by chapter, we're going to walk through a philosophical fire, burning away everything that no longer serves you, and forging a man the world cannot break. Look in the mirror. No, really look. Not at your face, not at your beard or the wrinkles under your eyes, not at the clothes you wear to look put together. Look deeper. Look at the man you've been dragging with you from one day to the next. The man who says he wants more but keeps choosing less. You've been carrying him like dead weight, defending him, justifying him, hiding behind him. He's the overthinker, the procrastinator, the someday man, the one who says, "I just need more time," or "I'll start when I feel ready," or "I'm not like those other guys." But let me ask you something. How much longer are you going to play this role? How many more weeks, months, years will you hand over to a version of yourself that fears change more than it fears regret? Let's be brutally honest. You're not protecting yourself. You're protecting your comfort, and your comfort is killing you. The Stoics understood this. They didn't chase comfort, they chased clarity. They taught us that real strength doesn't come from appearance or approval, but from the willingness to let your old self die. Not physically, philosophically, to kill every belief, every routine, every story that keeps you chained to a lesser life. As Epictetus said, first say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. But here's the part no one wants to talk about. That kind of clarity comes with a cost. It demands honesty, it demands confrontation, and it demands that you grieve the man you've been in order to meet the man you could become. That's why most men avoid it, because the moment you say out loud who you really want to be is the moment you have to admit you're not him yet. That gap between who you are and who you could be, that's where most people give up. But if you're still here, still listening, maybe, just maybe, you're not most people. Maybe you're ready to stop negotiating with weakness. Maybe you're ready to stop surviving and start forging, to stand up, not as a victim of your past, but as the architect of your future. And that begins with a choice. A death followed by a birth. The death of your weak self and the beginning of the man the world cannot break. We ended the last chapter with a challenge to bury the weak version of yourself before it buries you. But the truth is, most people never even start. Why? Because most people never change. They're too busy defending their past to create a future, too wrapped up in the comfort of their identity to let it die. They wear their history like armor. I've always been like this, they say. It's just who I am. But that armor, it's rusted. It weighs them down. It blinds them to who they could become. But you, if you're still here, still watching, still listening, you're not like most people. You've outgrown the lies you've been telling yourself. And somewhere deep inside, beneath the noise, you already know it. So here's your challenge, simple but powerful. Before this day ends, write down one trait, just one, that you know is holding you back. Write it clearly, no sugarcoating, no excuses. Call it what it is. Then, name its opposite. Name the man you want to become. And tomorrow, act as if you already are that man. Will it feel fake? Yes. Will it feel awkward, uncomfortable, maybe even embarrassing? Absolutely. But understand this. Discomfort is the sound of your old self dying. And that death, that's exactly what we're here for. Because the real war isn't fought in the gym. It's not fought in business meetings, in relationships, or on battlefields. The real war is fought in your head, in that quiet, looping voice that narrates who you are, what you're capable of, and how your story will end. That voice that whispers, "I've always been like this. This is just who I am. I'm not built for that." That voice is not your truth. It's a script, an old, tired story you've repeated to yourself so many times you've started to believe it's real, but it's not. It's a recycled identity built from fear, shaped by habit, and reinforced by repetition. Seneca said, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." Let that sink in. You're not losing battles because of real limits. You're losing them because you believe in imaginary limits. And worse, you speak them into existence. Every time you say, "I'm just not good at this," you're casting a vote for the man you used to be. Every time you say, "I've always failed at this," you're reinforcing the walls of a prison you built with your own language. Your thoughts are not neutral. They're not background noise. They're weapons. And if you don't take control of them, they will take control of you. The Stoics didn't preach fluffy optimism. They didn't say, "Just think positive." They said, "Examine everything, question everything." Because every time you speak about yourself, you are either strengthening your future or tightening the chains of your cage. So how do we break free? How do we fight back? Step 1. Interrupt the script. The moment you hear yourself saying something limiting, pause, take a breath, and ask, is this objectively true? Or is this just a tired excuse I've memorized too well? Be honest, be brutal, no mercy. Then, step 2, reframe it, not with affirmations, with clarity, with precision. Instead of, "I can't," say, "I haven't yet." Instead of, "That's just who I am," say, "That's who I've been. Who I become is my decision." Instead of, "I'm terrible at this," say, "I'm training this, I'm learning this." These aren't just words, they're commands. To your mind, to your body, to your future self. Because your identity isn't fixed, it's formed. Thought by thought, action by action, day by day. And just like building a muscle, your inner dialogue can be retrained, but only through repetition and only under resistance. So every time your old self whispers, "You'll always be this way," you respond, "You don't speak for me anymore." That's not your call. That, right there, is how new scripts are written. Not in ease, not in comfort, but in conflict with the past version of you who has overstayed his welcome. So today, not tomorrow, not next week, Today, step into command. Become the general of your own mind. Redesign the battlefield. Redraw the war plan. And remember, the first battle is won the moment you stop believing the lie that change isn't possible. Don't let self-doubt be the strategist of your future. Don't give it the pen to rewrite your story in whispers of fear or hesitation. It's time to erase every lie, every limit, every lazy label you've ever stuck onto your name like a scar. Remember this, you are not the voice in your head. You are the one who decides if that voice is even allowed to speak. Comfort feels good, doesn't it? It wraps around you like a warm blanket on a cold night. Soft and predictable, safe. But comfort can also be a coffin. Yes, a coffin. Warm, familiar, but still a prison. Just like a padded cell or a grave, it traps you slowly, quietly, invisibly. Let's be brutally clear. Your comfort zone isn't protecting you. It's preserving the old you, the version of yourself you say you want to leave behind. But you keep feeding it, keep defending it, keep living inside its walls. Every excuse to stay the same. I'll wait until I'm more prepared. I just don't have the energy. This isn't the right time. Every single one of those is a brick in the prison wall built around the man you used to be. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." This isn't just poetic fluff to feel good about struggle. It's a tactical command. Every resistance you feel, every flicker of fear, every hesitation, they are not stop signs, they are doors. And on the other side of those doors stands the man you want to become. But to reach him, you must be willing to set your comfort zone on fire. Not tomorrow, not next week. Now, the old you survives because you feed it routine, soft habits, easy days, empty rituals. You let it breathe through avoidance, you feed it with delay. But the man you want to become, he's not resting inside that comfort zone. He's buried deep in resistance, in sweat, in discomfort, in friction. He's forged by cold mornings that scream for the snooze button, awkward conversations you want to avoid, hard decisions no one else sees, and the kind of discipline that's invisible but undeniable. So here's what you need to do. Wake up earlier than you want to. Speak when your fear is begging you to stay silent. Say no when comfort begs you to say yes. Attack the task you've been avoiding for weeks, months, maybe even years. Every act of discomfort is a strike against the old self. Every time you choose pain over ease, you're digging the grave a little deeper for the man you no longer wish to be. You're not just doing hard things. You're forging a new identity. You're sending a clear message to your mind. This version of me is dying. I am not coming back. Burn the comfort zone. Scatter the ashes to the wind. Refuse to mourn. Because the life you want, the real powerful life, will never be found in what's easy. It's found in what hurts just enough to shape you, to break you down and build you into someone unrecognizable to the man you used to be. You are not haunted by your past. No, that's not true. You are haunted by your attachment to it. That old version of you, the one who failed, froze, stayed silent. He no longer exists. But every time you replay his story in your mind, every time you give energy to his mistakes, you breathe life back into his corpse. Let's get one thing straight. The past is not alive. It has no power of its own. It's you who keeps feeding it through regret, shame, the endless reruns of what you should have said, should have done, should have become. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this and you will find strength. And yes, that includes the events of your own past. What happened, happened. What's done is done. But what you choose to do now, that's where your true power lies. Old wounds don't have to be chains. They only become shackles when you wear them like a badge of identity. The Stoics understood this deeply. Pain is unavoidable, but suffering, that's optional. Suffering arises from repetition, replaying the same mistakes over and over in your mind. You suffer not because the mistake was monumental, but because you refuse to lay to rest the part of yourself that made it. Ask yourself this: how much of your present peace is being disturbed by a ghost that no longer even has a pulse? The old self isn't some monstrous figure chasing you down. It's more like a shadow you keep inviting to dinner, a whispering voice you let settle in at night. You might feel like you're still carrying him, that you always will, but that's a lie. The past has zero power unless you willingly let it hold you hostage. Here's your moment of truth. Tonight, when the room goes quiet and your thoughts start knocking on the door, don't answer with guilt. Don't invite shame in. Look your past square in the eye and say, "That man is dead. I buried him long ago. I carry only his lessons, not his weight." True freedom begins when you stop endlessly rehearsing your history and start rewriting your identity. But if you want to kill that old version of yourself, you have to dismantle his favorite weapon first: blame. The weak self? He's a master storyteller, a silver-tongued narrator who's exceptional at explaining why things went wrong, why it wasn't his fault, why the world is unfair, and why he was almost great if only someone else hadn't gotten in the way. He sings lullabies of victimhood and soothes himself with excuses. Every time you listen to that voice and believe it, you reinforce the cage he's built around your life. But let me be crystal clear. No one is coming to save you. Not your parents, not your friends, not your boss, not God, fate, or the universe. You aren't entitled to a better life unless you build it with your own hands. It's not the man who has little who is poor, but the man who craves more and more without end. Seneca called this craving for fairness, validation, or perfect circumstances, poverty of the spirit. Real Stoic strength starts when you stop blaming the storm and instead become the man who can walk through it unshaken. Because here's the undeniable truth. Your past may not be your fault, but your future is absolutely your responsibility. Read that again. Your childhood trauma, not your fault. That heartbreak, not your fault. That betrayal or failure, you didn't choose it, but you are choosing what happens next. You're choosing who holds the pen that writes the next chapter of your life. And every time you say, "It's because of them," you're handing that pen over to someone else. Ask yourself honestly, do you really want the people who hurt you to keep controlling your story? Every moment you spend blaming someone else, you delay your own growth. Every time you point the finger outward, you abandon the only place where true power has ever existed, in here, inside you. The path forward demands that you own your story. Not just the parts you're proud of, but every scar, every mistake, every moment you once wished to forget. Because that's where real freedom begins. When you stop running from your past, stop hiding behind it, and start building the future you deserve. Responsibility isn't something that chains you down or makes you hesitate. On the contrary, it gives you absolute freedom. To be responsible means you don't have to wait for anyone else to bring change to your life. And you don't need to beg the world to be different. You don't need the world to change. What you need is to be brutally honest with yourself. What have you allowed? What have you avoided? And what are you no longer willing to tolerate? From that honest acceptance and ownership, your new self is born. Not from shame, but from full control. Here's a practice for tonight. Write down 3 things in your life right now that you're unhappy with. But next to each one, don't write who caused it. Write down how you contributed to it, where you allowed it, where you stayed silent, where you delayed action. This is not self-blame. This is self-liberation. Because the moment you say, "I own this and I will change it," is the moment you become unbreakable. The old you loves to blame others. He loves pointing fingers. But the new you points inward. And from that place of total ownership, builds a life no one can take away. The old self waits, He waits for motivation, inspiration, the perfect mood, the perfect weather, the perfect Monday. He lives like the world owes him a green light. And until that light comes, he stays still, watching his life decay from the sidelines. But the man you want to become, he doesn't wait, he moves. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." That quote isn't just about obstacles outside, it's about you. You are the obstacle. Your feelings, your fatigue, your fear, they are not facts, they are friction. And that friction, that resistance, is exactly where transformation begins. The old self is a slave to emotion. He obeys impulses. He's driven by how he feels, not by who he's committed to becoming. He wants to feel ready, but readiness is a myth. You will never feel perfectly ready to become someone stronger, because that leap means killing the current version of you. And no part of you wants to die. So here's the truth. If you wait until you feel like it, you'll still be waiting 5 years from now. Discipline is what kills the old self. Not when it's easy, not when the stars align, but when everything inside you wants to quit and you do it anyway. The Stoics didn't chase feelings, they chased virtue. They acted because it was right, not because it felt good. Epictetus said, "How long are you going to wait before you demand the best for yourself?" So ask yourself, how many workouts have you skipped waiting for motivation? How many ideas did you abandon waiting for clarity? How many mornings did you waste because your bed felt too safe? Now flip it. How would your life change if you only needed one reason to act? Because you said you would. Not because you're in the mood, not because it feels comfortable, but because you made a commitment to never again serve the weak version of you. That's the pivot. That's where everything changes. You stop asking, "Do I feel like doing this?" and start declaring, "This is who I am now." Building on the determination you just declared, this is how you become a man of action. Not reacting to emotions, but acting on principle. This is the Stoic spirit. A man who moves with purpose without waiting for permission or perfect conditions. Now, here's your challenge. Pick one daily ritual, writing, training, meditating, building something, and do it every single day, especially when you don't feel like it, especially when that old self inside you whispers, "Let's skip today." But every time you push through discomfort, you're laying down strong bricks for the new you. You're sharpening your resolve, turning thought into strength and burning every bridge back to your old life. The weak self waits for the perfect moment. The strong self creates it. And you've waited long enough. Comfort is a liar. It tells you safety means peace, ease means happiness, and you deserve rest, softness, and indulgence. But deep down, you know the truth. The more comfortable you become, the weaker you get. Seneca didn't wait for hardship to come. He chose to practice it. He slept on hard floors, wore rough clothes, went without food or wealth for days. Not because he was poor, but to train his mind to stay powerful even when comfort was gone. He understood something we've forgotten. Discomfort isn't punishment, it's preparation. In a world constantly selling you ease, luxury, and convenience, you must deliberately choose hardship regularly, or life will throw discomfort at you that you're not ready for. The Stoic man embraces voluntary hardship, so when real pain hits, he's already forged. If you want to improve, be willing to be thought foolish and stupid. Epictetus said that, and let it burn into your spine. Growth doesn't happen where you feel strong. It happens where your limits are tested, your ego bruised, your body screams stop, but your mind whispers just a little more. The old self fears discomfort. It says, "I don't want to. I can't handle this, it's too much." But the man you are becoming, he walks into the cold shower. He trains when no one's watching. He says no to sugar, no to porn, no to numbing escapes. He sits in silence while the world screams distractions. Why? Because he's building something stronger than muscles or routines. He's building self-command. Discomfort isn't punishment. It's not suffering for suffering's sake. It's a reminder that you are not ruled by cravings. You're not a slave to ease. You choose the harder path because it sharpens you. So here's your challenge. Once a week, do something intentionally hard. Skip a meal, take a freezing shower, wake up at 4:30 a.m. and walk until sunrise. Train when you're tired. Sit in silence for an hour. Say no to something tempting just because you can. These aren't random acts. They are psychological warfare against the weak version of you, begging for pleasure, escape, and softness. Every time you say no to comfort, you send a message to your soul. You are stronger than the noise. You are forged, not pampered. You are becoming someone the world cannot break. Voluntary discomfort is the crucible where you are being reborn. You've carried that weak self long enough. The one who always says, maybe tomorrow. The one who doubts, delays, disappears when life gets hard. But today, you don't give in with rage or regret. You make a single, ruthless decision. I will never be that man again. From now on, every early morning, every disciplined choice, every time you show up when no one's watching, that's a shovel of dirt on the grave of your former self. You don't need more inspiration, you need commitment, and you already have it. From this moment on, you live not by feelings, but by standards, discipline, and the code of a Stoic. If this video hits something real inside you, drop a comment below. I buried my old self today. Let that be your declaration. And if you're ready to walk this path with us, hit that subscribe button for Stoic Fantastic. This isn't just another motivation channel. This is a war room for the self-controlled, the relentless, the reborn. Life isn't going to wait for you. And if you don't kill your weaker self today, he'll bury your future tomorrow. Welcome to the new era of you. Let's build him. Let's become him.